and this is my mother, Nicole.
Hi.
And we went to Mammoth Cave last weekend, and one of the things we saw was people would write their names in smoke on the cave ceilings in the 1800s. If you did that today, it'd be graffiti. But if you did it in the 1800s, you get your name preserved, and you get everyone to look at it. And she's going to talk to you about the gypsum and why this was able to happen in the first place.
So gypsum is a crystal formed from calcium sulfate. So as the water filtered through the ground, through the limestone rock, onto the cave ceiling, when the water solute hit the ceiling, the dry air of the cave caused it to form crystals. And gypsum is used in making drywall, like on your walls. It's also used for stucco on the outside of houses, plaster of Paris, if anybody ever had that white stuff that they stuck their handprint in and then painted it later for their mom and dad when they were in kindergarten, that's plaster of Paris. It's also found in tofu to help it kind of congeal and form. But since we want to recreate what we saw in Mammoth Cave, we decided that we would use some old drywall and try to use it as the gypsum ceiling and see how well and how long it took to for people 150 years ago to smoke their names into the ceiling.
So we're going to start signing our names now, and we'll tell you how long it takes.
You're definitely burning it.
Well, how do you know that's not what they did?
They smoked it.
Yeah, well, this isn't producing a ton of smoke.
This is not
Candles
producing.
don't produce a ton of smoke.
Huh. That's a problem. I don't think I'm going to get my entire name signed.
I don't think so either.
I think I'm going to just go with like one initial.
I had a lot of patience back then.
Well, I guess if the most exciting thing in life to do was to go and look at a cave, you would have a lot of patience.
That's true.
I guess you just kind of sat around and talked and told ghost stories
While doing this.
and burnt
I think it's
gypsum
worth
crystals in the
mentioning
ceiling.
that we made our cave height like our height. These people had to stick their candles on a stick and stick the stick in the air. We're not using sticks.
No, my arm's already getting tired. There is no way I'd be able to sign my whole name.
The other thing is, this isn't pure gypsum crystal.
You're right, it's not.
But you do.
No, I think we're definitely burning it, not smoking it.
I wonder if they've ever tried smoking it in the cave to see if they're right that it was smoked and not burned.
That is a very good question.
Because otherwise, how would you know?
They're assuming because of all the fires. Now that would make sense because a fire would produce a lot more smoke than a candle would.
Yeah, but they're saying you smoked it with a candle. But this candle's not producing a ton of smoke.
No, I saw smoke coming off this side. That was interesting.
Wait, really?
I saw a whole bunch of smoke trailing off this way, so hopefully we're not starting this on fire. Oh no, look at all that smoke that just came off yours.
Yeah.
I'm curious if we used something that produced more smoke than a candle, if this would go faster.
What will we do to produce smoke?
Alright, so I got tired of my hand being burned. So I came up with a solution to catch the wax. I don't know.
Oh, I blew out my candle to produce smoke, and it didn't really do anything. Plus, smoke goes every which direction. I'm really starting to doubt that they were smoked.
I could see where large swaths of the ceiling turned color.
I can't see where like a very significant line.
Yeah, because those names were so very clear.
Yeah, and they were so very straight lined. I feel like smoke is a little
right.
too
The smoke
fickle.
is going everywhere, and it's not really dyeing
anything, yeah.
the board.
They must have been really good at drawing straight lines.
I kind of feel like they were burning the crystal.
I kind of feel like they were too. Look at my straight line. It's like not straight.
No. You had a very bad teacher to teach you handwriting and penmanship clearly.
She's my teacher.
kind of think that this would be worth calling the park ranger and asking them, are you sure they used candle smoke and they didn't just burn the...
Oh yeah, look, I burned it in seconds.
That seems to go a whole lot faster.
Uh-huh.
That would make a whole lot more sense.
This is a whole lot more fun. This is fast. That looks more like it too.
Yeah, the really dark
Don't you
color.
think that looks more like what we saw?
Yeah, it does. Now don't actually start this on fire.
I'm not starting it on fire.
Our fire extinguisher's upstairs. That was probably very poor planning. Yeah, that actually goes really fast.
And it looks much more like what we saw.
Yeah, it does. And it explains why they had thick lines, because you want to kind of correct a few places.
Uh-huh. Not to mention you want them to be seen from the ground.
Yeah.
Oops.
Now, we're not, obviously this is not pure gypsum,
Yeah,
the way the
is true.
ceiling of the cave was.
Uh-huh. Just gonna do my weird signature.
But look at that. You have the circles that they had
I know!
in their names.
I know! It sure looks like what we saw.
It does.
Like, that looks identical. Look!
Yeah.
Every time I do it, it looks exactly like that. And it's like the flame burning a little circle. Look at that.
I mean, clearly you
Ouch.
would not want to keep it in one spot too long.
No.
Particularly in our case, because we don't want to burn down the house. But you're right. It creates little circles.
Uh-huh.
Wow. You're better at this than I am. My line's very not straight.
Have you seen my line? Look how dark it's getting. I think it's fading. Oh, oops, I just,
Well, it's definitely creating soot, because when you wiped it, you were able to wipe it lighter.
Uh-huh.
So it's definitely a soot.
Uh-huh. Maybe this is smoke. What do you know?
Now, those signatures were very, very impressive on the cave wall. I wonder if people did that a lot back then.
Like sign their names on caves?
Well, I don't know, like randomly, because I'm not very good at this at all.
I am.
Wait a minute, that's totally not fair. Yours looks awesome.
I know.
Mine looks pathetic.
That's sad.
Yes, it is. Well, now I know why that one guy kept re-signing his name, probably because he wanted to improve his signature. Don't start it on fire.
I'm not starting it on fire.
Now that would be one advantage to doing this on a cave ceiling, is that you don't risk starting the ceiling on fire.
I swear, this looks exactly like what we saw, but I'm not doing this with smoke.
No, it's definitely taking the flame to do this. Yeah, so they really weren't in there for that long. I was thinking it was going to take them hours to do. You're right, we're definitely getting those circles that make it look like maybe we sat under here for a while, but we didn't. It's still better than mine. It's in a perfectly straight line. Mine looks like a second grader wrote it.
And you got all those penmanship books for me.
Okay, and I spent years writing on a chalkboard. I thought I'd actually be good at this, but this is like completely different. This is more like artsy drawing.
This is fun artsy drawing though.
I mean, it still takes some time to make the giant letters.
Yeah.
Oops, I put my candle out.
Oops.
Well, that's a lot of smoke, but it's white smoke. It's not
dark smoke.
It's not dark smoke. And this is actually something that historians do. They actually go and they recreate how they think something was done in order to test it and see if they were right. See, and this is why we saw such differences on the ceiling in Mammoth Cave, because there's people like me who tried to do gigantuan things and then got very sad when it just turned out sloppy. And then there's people like
me
you
who start small and get bigger.
And yet it turned out so very nice. So, I'm curious how easily this wipes away.
Oh yeah, they did tell us not to touch it because it wipes away.
It does, look at that. So it's definitely formed with smoke.
It's definitely soot, yeah. Because
But
we're not.
we had to actually put the flame on the gypsum in order to cause the soot to
To like
to form.
Oh yeah, because it smoked, like, when you touched it with the flame.
Yeah.
Huh. So it's like carbon monoxide when you stick a lid on a candle and like all the black stuff.
Goes up to the top. Yeah. So now you can see my initials. They're very light. And you can also see where I have wiped away the soot. So we definitely were smoking the letters. We weren't actually burning the gypsum.
But we thought we were because we had the flame touching it. And this is where I was showing, like, I make little tiny circles in the soot because when you touch the flame to the board, it like spreads out into like a little circle of flame, and it burns little circles as you move it. And here's my stuff.
Mammoth Cave National Park, how may I help you?
Hello, we wanted to ask some questions about the smoke names on the ceiling that's written in the gypsum.
Okay.
Do you know how people like smoked their names into the gypsum? Like how it was done?
They would put candles on a stick and hold that stick up and use the candle to write, the smoke off the candle to write those names on the walls.
Do you know if the flame itself touched the gypsum or if it was just hovering under it?
No, just the smoke, yes. It was just hovering.
Has anyone tried to recreate the smoke signatures to see how long it took and like how they did it?
Not that I know of, because we do try to keep people from writing their names on the walls now.
Well, I was wondering like archaeologists or like scientists.
Not that I know of.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a nice day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's very interesting. They don't think the flame touched the ceiling, but they haven't done it.
They haven't done it. I am curious to see
I wish we had some gypsum, like some
some
straight
true
gypsum.
straight gypsum and not gypsum board.
Yeah, like I wish we owned a piece of Mammoth Cave.
Oh, or a piece of our own cave that had gypsum on it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like it needs an awful lot of smoke to create that darkness.
Yeah.
And as we saw, smoke doesn't really rise off of candles. Now, we'd have to try to find an authentic 1800s candle.
I've made authentic 1800 candles. They work the same way.
Well, I can't remember if there's more smoke that comes off of them.
I don't think there is.
I don't know that there is either.
Yeah.
Because the wax prevents the wick from burning too fast.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point.
And
is
the
that
wick
they,
is...
Because, I mean, think about it. In the 1800s, you lit your house with candles. If you had all this smoke coming from the candles, that'd be a very smoky environment.
It would be.
And we know that's not the case.
Right. It takes a big fire to produce that much smoke and turn something black. Mm-hmm. And we know they had those inside Mammoth Cave.
Yeah.
And that would be what turns some of the ceilings
black.
In some of the areas black.
But to write your name, that takes a whole lot of precision. Anyway, so we think that you might have needed the flame to touch the gypsum, but that somebody should recreate it with actual gypsum.